Hello again. Now let's see a chapter called as Advanced Ruling. Now you must have studied this chapter in direct tax also, right? From me or from someone else. So the concept of advanced ruling remains same. There is an advanced ruling authority to whom you can go and ask any question of law or a question of fact on a transaction which is yet to be undertaken or has been undertaken but on which any case has not arisen. There is no case, hence it is called as advance. You have to go before the case arises, before the conflict arises, okay, between you and the department. So if you have any question in mind, you can go and ask that question to the advanced ruling authority. So that is called as advanced ruling. So what is the procedure to be followed for this purpose? Let's see in this chapter. Very simple chapter and interesting and important also. One question you can expect, weightage around 3 to 5 marks. Okay. So let's see. First, the definitions are given. That advanced ruling means a decision provided by the authority for appellate authority or the appellate authority. There are two authorities here, the authority for advanced ruling and the appellate authority for advanced ruling. Okay, so two authorities are there. To an applicant on matters or on questions specified in subsection 2 of section 97 that we are going to see, or subsection 1 of section 100 in relation to supply of goods and or service, or both, being undertaken or proposed to be undertaken by the applicant. The appellate authority means the appellate authority for advanced ruling referred to in 99. Applicant means a person registered or desirous of obtaining registration under the Act. A registered person can also apply, or a person who is not registered but who wants registration, he can also apply. Application means the application made, and authority means the authority for advanced ruling. So first we'll make application to the authority for advanced ruling, and after the decision of the authority comes, and if we are not satisfied with that, then we can go to the appellate authority for advanced ruling. Okay, so there are two authorities, two levels, the basic authority and then at the advanced level the appellate authority. So let's see. First, the authority for advanced ruling, section 96. Subject to provisions of this chapter, for the purpose of this act, the authority for advanced ruling constituted under the provisions of State Goods and Service Tax or the Union Territory Goods and Service Tax Act shall be deemed to be an authority for advanced ruling in respect of that state or union territory. So what it means is that the authorities will be appointed by the state governments for respective states. So in every state there will be an authority for advanced ruling, and that authority which is appointed by this under the State Act or under the Union Territory Act will be deemed to be the authority for advanced ruling even under this act. And the qualifications etc. are given in Rule 103. The government shall appoint officers not below the rank of Joint Commissioner as member of the authority for advanced ruling. Means the officers who are appointed on the as authority for advanced ruling have to be Joint Commissioners or above level officers. So that is the internal appointment. Now let's see the main, section 97, how to apply for advanced ruling. So question will come on this, 97. An applicant. Applicant may be a registered person or may not be registered person, but who wants registration, desirous of registration. So applicant. Desirous of obtaining advanced ruling means a person who wants advanced ruling under this chapter may make an application on the common portal in form ARA 1 accompanied by a fee of 5,000 rupees stating the question on which the advanced ruling is sought. So you have to just go online, put a question, pay 5,000 rupees and apply for advanced ruling. It's as simple as that. Then the question on which the advanced ruling is sought shall be in respect of any of the following. This is important question will come on this, that which questions can be asked to the advanced ruling authority. All these questions. Number one, classification. Classification of goods and or services or both, means the classification code, the HSN classification. So if you have a doubt regarding classification of your goods, whether it should fall in this HSN entry or that entry, you can go for advanced ruling. Similarly for service. Then applicability of a notification issued under provisions of the Act. If the government has issued a notification and you want to know whether that notification is applicable to you or not, go to advanced ruling. Then determination of time and value of the goods or service or both. Time of supply and value of goods. Then admissibility of input tax credit, ITC, any question relating to ITC, the admissibility of the credit of taxpayer or deemed to have been paid. Then determination of liability to pay tax, whether you are liable to pay tax on any goods or service or both. Then whether applicant is required to be registered or not, do I have to register myself? And whether any particular thing done by the applicant with respect to any goods or service or both amounts to or results in supply, means question of supply. Whatever I am doing is supply or not, and if it is supply, whether it is supply of goods or service or what, within the meaning of that term. So we have seen the definition of supply, section 7. So all these questions can be asked to the advanced ruling authority. Then procedure on receipt of application. Once you apply, what will happen? On receipt of the application, the authority shall cause a copy thereof to be forwarded to the concerned officer, and if necessary call upon him to furnish the relevant records. Means one copy will be sent to the department and the officer will be called upon to submit his say in this matter and the relevant records. Provided that where any records have been called for by the authority, in any case such records shall as soon as possible be returned to the concerned officers. Obviously after verification and checking, the records will be sent back. Then the authority may, after examining the application and the records called for, and after hearing the applicant or his authorized representative and the concerned officer or his authorized representative, so both the parties will be given the opportunity of being heard, and after hearing them, by order either admit or reject the application. So this is the first step. The application for advanced ruling will come up for admission before the authority. This is called as the admission stage. There are two stages, admission stage and then the further stage, the advanced ruling stage. So first is admission stage. So the first thing that the authority will do is examine our application and also study the records submitted by the officer, and then they will satisfy themselves whether to accept the case or reject the case, accept the application or reject. So that is the first thing. So they will decide whether to admit or reject. But then there are certain provisos, two provisos. First proviso says, provided that the authority shall not admit. Shall not admit means they have to reject the application where the question raised in the application is already pending or decided in any proceedings in the case of an applicant under any of the provisions of this Act. Means you are the applicant. Mr. Jagdish Singh Kataria is the applicant. Jagdish Singh Kataria is the applicant. Okay, and in his case only, the same question has already been decided earlier or is pending. Pending means pending in assessment, pending in appeals, as the case may be. For assessee himself, for Mr. Jagdish, it is already pending. Means, for example, he has supplied some goods and he wants to know the taxability of these goods. Now, he has supplied these goods earlier also, and a case has already arisen. He had not paid the tax, and department gave him a notice to pay the tax, and that case is already going on. It is already pending. in assessment stage or appeal stage, any stage, it is already pending or already decided. If that is the case, then you cannot go with the same question to advanced ruling authority. Advanced ruling authority will reject your case. They will say that it is already pending. Let the officers decide. Why have you come to me? Simple. Now the technical reason behind this is that the same question cannot be raised by you before the two forums at the same time. So if it is already open in assessment or open in appeals, you cannot reopen it before advanced ruling authority. Go to one place, not too many places. Okay, so that's the first point. Second, provided further that no application shall be rejected under this subsection unless an opportunity of being heard has been granted to the applicant. Of course, before rejection, the opportunity of being heard will be given. And provided also that where the application is rejected, reasons for such rejection shall be specified in the order. So reasons will also be mentioned, that why the authority has rejected my application. And on the basis of this rejection order, I can even go into appeal to the appellate advanced ruling authority. Anyway, then further it is given a copy of the order under subsection 2 shall be sent to the applicant and to the concerned officer. Under subsection 2 means the order of acceptance or rejection will be sent. Now if it is rejected, the matter will be closed, but if it is accepted, then we'll move further. Where the application is admitted under subsection 2, the authority shall, after examining such further material as may be placed before it by the applicant or obtained by the authority, and after providing an opportunity of being heard to the applicant or his authorized representative, means your CA, your lawyer, etc., as well as the concerned officer or his authorized representative, pronounce its ruling. So now this is the second stage, the ruling stage. So after considering everything, he will pronounce the ruling on the question specified in the application. And where the members of the authority differ, now suppose there are two members sitting and deciding your case, and they differ in their opinion, then what? They differ on any question on which the advanced ruling is sought. They shall state the point or points on which they differ and make a reference to the appellate authority for hearing and deciding on such question. So then the authority, the original authority, is of a different view. Two members are sitting there, A and B, and they are of the different view on the same question. So then they will refer the case to the appellate authority, and then the appellate authority will hear and decide that question. Then the authority shall pronounce its advance ruling in writing within 90 days. The time for giving advance ruling is 90 days from the date of receipt of application. And a copy of the advance ruling pronounced by the authority, duly signed by the members and certified in such manner as may be prescribed. Certified means by official signature, shall be sent to the applicant, one copy to the applicant, the concerned officer, one copy to the officer, and the jurisdictional officer after such pronouncement. Then appellate authority for advance ruling. Subject to provisions of this chapter, for the purpose of the Act, the appellate authority for advance ruling constituted under the provisions of the State Goods and Service Tax or the Union Territory Goods and Service Tax Act shall be deemed to be the appellate authority. Means again the same thing. Every state will appoint one appellate authority. So every state has got the advance ruling authority, then they will also appoint the appellate authority or the Union Territory, as the case may be. Then the appeal. The concerned officer, the jurisdictional officer, or the applicant aggrieved by any advance ruling. Aggrieved means who is not happy, who feels that injustice is done to him, is aggrieved party. So if you have made the original application for advance ruling, and if you get a favorable judgment, the question is answered in your favor. So if it is answered in your favor, then department will be aggrieved, the officers will be aggrieved. If the original question is answered in the favor of department, then you are aggrieved. So whoever is aggrieved will go into appeal to the appellate authority. Then every appeal under this section shall be filed within a period of 30 days from the date on which the ruling, the original ruling, sought to be appealed against is communicated to the officer or the applicant. So it is not 30 days from the date of passing of the ruling. It is 30 days from the date of communication of the ruling, the original ruling. And provided that the appellate authority may, if it is satisfied that the appellant means the person who files the appeal, is called as the appellant. This is pronounced as appellant. One who files appeal is called as appellant. Was prevented by sufficient cause from presenting the appeal within the said period of 30 days, allow it to be presented within a further period not exceeding 30 days. So this is extension of time. Original time is 30 days. But if due to some practical problem you are unable to file it within 30 days, then you can take extension of another 30 days. Then the rule is also given, 106. Form and manner of appeal. An appeal against the advance ruling shall be made by the applicant on the common portal in form ARA2 and shall be accompanied by a fee of 10,000. So original ruling fees is 5,000 and appeal fees is 10,000. Then appeal against the advance ruling made by the concerned officer or the jurisdictional officer under 100 on the common portal in form ARA3, and no fee shall be payable. If the department is going into appeal, then no fees is there. If the assessee goes into appeal, then there is fees. If you go into appeal, you have to pay 10,000. If the department goes into appeal, no fees. And the appeal, the verification contained therein and all the relevant documents accompanying such appeal shall be signed in the case of concerned officer, in a case of the concerned officer or jurisdictional officer by the officer authorized in writing by such officer, and in case of applicant means you, the public, in the manner specified in Rule 26, that is basically by digital signature. Then order of the appellate authority. The appellate authority may, after giving the parties to appeal or reference an opportunity of being heard, pass such orders as it thinks fit, confirming or modifying the ruling appealed against or referred to. They may confirm it, they can modify it. Confirm means they will confirm with the original ruling that whatever the original ruling was is correct, so no need to change. Or if they feel that any change is required, they may change, means modify. Then the order referred to under subsection 1 shall be passed within a period of 90 days from the date of filing of the appeal under 100 or a reference under subsection 5 of 98. Subsection 5 of 98 we saw that was diversion of views, where there was diversion of views before the original advance ruling authority. Then they had referred the case to the appellate authority. And section 100 is the appeal case. So both have to be decided within 90 days. Then where the members of the appellate authority differ on any point or points referred to in appeal or reference, means if the appellate authority also consists of two people and they also differ, then what? It shall be deemed that no advance ruling can be issued in respect of the question under the appeal or reference. Then we cannot go further because appellate authority is the last authority and appellate authority. So if there was a difference of opinion between the original authority, then the matter is referred to appellate authority. But if the appellate authority also differs, then where to go? You have nowhere to go. So it will be deemed that advance ruling cannot be given. Then a copy of advance ruling pronounced by the appellate authority, duly signed by the members and certified in the manner prescribed, shall be sent to the applicant, the concerned officer. Concerned officer means from whom the documents were called, and the jurisdictional officer, that is having jurisdiction over the assessee, and to the original authority after such pronouncement. All simple points. Then there is a rectification of advance ruling. Suppose advance ruling is given and later on it is found that there is some mistake, some errors have come in, then it can be rectified. Very simple point. So it says the authority or the appellate authority may amend. Both of them have the power to amend the order passed by it under section 98 by the authority, 101 by appellate authority, so as to rectify any error apparent on face of the record. such errors which are apparent. Apparent means visible on face of record itself. You don't need to prove it by further evidence or anything. They are prima facie mistakes or errors, so they can be rectified. If such error is noticed by the authority or the appellate authority on its own accord, or brought to its notice by the concerned officer, the jurisdictional officer, or the applicant, or the appellant within a period of 6 months from the date of the order. Simple, 6 months time is given. Provided that no rectification which has the effect of enhancing the tax liability or reducing the amount of admissible input tax credit shall be made unless the applicant or the appellant has been given opportunity of being heard. So if the rectification is such that it will go against the assessee, the appellant, then the applicant or the appellant, then an opportunity has to be given to him of being heard before making the rectification. Then applicability of advance ruling. To whom it will apply? To the applicant. So it says the advance ruling pronounced by the authority, or as the case may be the appellate authority, under this chapter shall be binding. Binding on whom? The applicant who has sought it in respect of matters on which it has been sought. So to the applicant, and only on the matter on which it was sought, not for any other matter. Okay? And on the concerned or jurisdictional officer in respect of the applicant. So it will also bind the officer, but only in respect of this applicant, not for others. And the advance ruling referred to under 1 shall be binding unless the law, facts or circumstance supporting the original advance ruling have changed. So until the law remains the same and facts and circumstances remain the same, the advance ruling will continue to apply. There is no time limit for advance ruling. Once advance ruling is given, it is perpetual. Perpetual till the law, the facts and circumstances remain the same. But if the section is amended, old advance ruling will become irrelevant. Then advance ruling to be void in certain circumstances. Where the authority or the appellate authority finds that the advance ruling pronounced by it under 98(4) or 101(1) has been obtained by the applicant or the appellant by fraud or suppression of material facts or misrepresentation of facts. So you had lied when you applied for the advance ruling. You have obtained the advance ruling by fraud, absolute fraud, or by suppression of material facts. You had suppressed the important facts or misstated the facts, misrepresentation of facts. If this is found later on, then what the authorities will do, they will cancel out their advance ruling ab initio. Ab initio means from the beginning. Right from the beginning when it was given, it will be deemed never to have been given. And therefore, the officer will proceed against the assessee for this whole period and recover whatever tax he has to recover. So it's given there, declare such ruling to be void ab initio. The ruling will be declared as void ab initio, means from the beginning. And thereupon all provisions of the act or the rules made thereunder shall apply to the applicant or the appellant as if such advance ruling had never been made. Means right from the beginning to this date, whatever benefits you have enjoyed in the advance ruling will be withdrawn, and the tax can be recovered from you along with interest, penalty and so on and so forth. Provided that no order shall be passed under this subsection unless an opportunity of being heard is given. Obviously, opportunity of being heard has to be given before cancelling the advance ruling. And the explanation says that whatever time this ruling was in force, it may be in force for say 1 year or 6 months or 2 years or 3 years, this time will not be included in the limitation periods given under section 73 or 74. Now 73, 74 are the recovery sections. Okay. and recovery sections have particular time period that notice has to be given within this time. Then only the duty or tax can be recovered. But this period of advance ruling which was there is to be excluded from those limitation periods. Means what? That here you have taken the advance ruling by fraud or misrepresentation, and here it is declared as void ab initio. Okay, it is declared as void ab initio. So now action will be taken against you under 73 or 74 as the case may be. 73 and 74 are recovery sections, so action will be taken. So when this action is taken, the notice will be issued. Notice under section 73 or 74 will be issued as the case may be. Now then, when the notice is issued under 73 and 74, it can be issued for a particular period of time. That time is, for example, 1 year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever. That particular time is there. Notice can cover only that much time. But in this case, this period which is there, this period of time is not to be included. Means suppose if this notice is valid for 1 year and this period is say 9 months in between, then these 9 months will not be calculated. So suppose after it has become void, the notice is issued within 1 month. So if this is 1 month and the notice can be issued for 1 year, then it will be 1 month here and 11 months prior to this. So that's how 12 months will be calculated. This period will not be calculated in that 12 months period. Means notice can cover this entire period as it is. The full period will be covered by the notice and the tax can be recovered. Understood? This period not counted in limitation period. Not counted in limitation period. And then subsection 2 is simple. The copies will be sent to the applicant, the concerned officer and the jurisdictional officer. Then 105 discusses the powers of the authority and the appellate authority. So this is not to be read as such. No question will come here. Just if you want, you can read once for technical sense that they have the powers of the courts basically. They have been given power of civil court. And lastly 106 says that they will decide their own their own procedure. At what time they have to open the office, where the address should be and all those things, and how much staff to be appointed and all. They will be regulated by the authority itself. No question. So that's simple chapter of advanced ruling, very technical in nature, logical in nature, and you can expect one question of 3 to 4 marks on this chapter.